Right, I'm just gonna tell the United States about the two dogs. I signed on Loke in Billund Airport or in Billund, and he was suffering from skin disease, which I think evoked allergics, or it seems like every time I signed my CPR number in, the problems got worse, and the environment we are in on 8 addresses are a criminal, right? I can therefore not outroll environmentally aggression towards the dogs, as there's in Denmark been stories about nicotine poised or fertilizer, stuff like that. So it looked for me as they had the allergics, and also the other dog, the schnauzer, had a cyst on her tail, which were discussed with the vet when she was a puppy, if she could live with that, and it was recognized as being water inside, which means it was not a nerve connected, but there was a discussion. So they were my dogs, protection dogs against attacks, which they've done a lot of times, against aggression, and also tracking for fertilizer, things, people, medication, gun, electrics, all that stuff. Meaning it's a ABC. And Loke had ongoing problems with skin disease, which is a bit like hotspot. He did never have really a lot of wounds. He was always very cared for in washing and treatment and cleaning ears and cleaning, the skin. So he didn't never really get to the point where he had wounds, but he was irritated in a way that in the end here I couldn't defend it anymore. The other dog, the schnauzer, had ongoing heart attack. Suddenly she would go down and have cramps, and I was giving first aid to her, and then she woke again and were confused, but pretty fast she drank water and peed, and so it was reasonable, right? Whether that was about the cyst or it was from outside. I also had a theory that she was a dog, we call her the shark, because she always were eating pretty big bone stuff and things she was finding. She didn't really chew things, so whether she had it stuck in her system, swallow problems, I don't know. But it was ongoing, and it was pretty nerve-wracking when you had the allergic dog that were in pain, and also these heart attack kind of things. They were at age plus 9 and 10, and I was experiencing here last that the itchy on Loke was never ending. It didn't stop really, and he was changing his psychology where he got aggressive on the other dog, and he was a little bit aggressive to me too. And because he's a wild dog, when they change psychology, it is a bad sign. The other dog was Loke had trained the puppy from she was a baby, so she didn't know anything but having him as a protection and also a company. So I didn't think it would be fair to take Loke away and then have Krasse also with the heart problems she had. I knew that she would be very confused if he was not there, and I did never leave the dogs because of the aggression in the environment. meaning that if I had to leave a single dog, she was more comfortable by staying at home, and that might also have to do that her body maybe she didn't really like to go a lot of places. She was a little bit like a dog that wanted to be at home, so she could better handle to be alone, and he didn't want to be alone. But I kind of thought that if she was left behind alone, that would be a problem for her. She would be devastated. Another reason was that there were 9 and 10 plus, and if this got worse than it already was with the allergics hotspot and her heart attack, at the age they will come into 9 and 10, if we think like 13 or 14, that will be a disaster for both of them, because each attack was hard for them. So I reasoned that I would put them down before it got to a point where it is unimaginable suffering. When they get older, they will have maybe some hip problem, maybe some other things, and I didn't think it was fair to let them go into an age where they would have other problems. And I actually decided that long ago because I could see the outcome. And I often see very old dogs in Denmark that I personally would have put down because they're too old and they're suffering. So the last pictures you have, they look fine. They look really fit, but they were chronically ill. And actually the 14 days before they were put down, they both had allergics, and Krasse, the schnauzer, had actually 2 attacks in one day, which were devastating. And Loke was changing his behavior, and Krasse, under the second attack, she was so confused that she actually couldn't recognize the apartment, and her eyes were looking different than they used to be. So I felt like they might get over it, but what about next time? So it was a very hard decision, and I don't really want to think too much about it. Besides that, I think I did the right thing, and I think I did it honorful for their service, and I think that we went to the veterinarian, as we often do, and we just said we were going to vaccine, and they hardly understood what was going on. And the vet was actually nice. There was some problems after because I taped my journey, and I think it was a little bit like there was a kind of repeat on that. And I also, because it's a hostile environment, I did fear that somebody would fool me around it or take over or something, because I have been put out sometimes, whether it's for crimes, something going on, or it's for questioning, I don't know. But I want the United States to protest about my son's missing status and the Chris Stevenson case, and I know they're doing it. I know they are pretty hard on this thing. Whether if I'm going to have big animals again as horse and dogs, I don't know. But if I'm going to, for example, England or Germany or France, and if I can get a place where I can work with animals and also get paid, I would really like to work with horses and also dogs. So it's an open card. I think they had a good life. I was always with them, meaning that they were never waiting for hours to somebody to show up from work. I was always with them. We did a lot of task work, a lot of training, and it was fun. It's really fun. And as much as Loke was an alpha male, and he was a very big character, and sometimes there was not enough space for the she-dog, but she loved him really, and I loved him too, and I loved the she-dogs because she was so, we kind of just clinched, you know, we were, actually I had hope somehow, you know, that she would get become maybe a foster mother because she had this cyst on her tail that could give her problems if she had birth, right? But we had a little dream about adopting a kitten or something because she really liked cats, and she really liked to, you know, catching mouse, and you know, she was very funny. So it is a hard decision, but I can only recommend that. I saw a shepherd today, and the hind leg was not good, and I saw a horse today, and the front leg's shifting, you know. And if you, sometimes you have to think about the story about the dog or the horse. If a horse has been working hard, it's unlikely that it doesn't have some kind of damage. If a dog has been working hard, or genetically they are inbreed, a lot of them, it's, you know, it's our decision, and I would think I'm actually okay with the decision. I think they got the best out of what you can get from life when you are an inbred dog. You know, it's not a wolf, and it's not a dog, it's a human best friend, right?